Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today's video is all about my GMRS radio install. My name is Todd from Next Level Adventures, and I've been slowly converting my 2005 Toyota Tundra into my overland vehicle. Earlier this year, I went to the Overland Expo in Pomona, and I got a fantastic deal on a Midland radio. So I'm going to take you guys through step by step on my install. Alright guys, so this is what I bought. This is a Midland MX275 GMRS radio. It comes with everything you need to get it going, and small little antenna, which I'm not going to be using. The nice thing about this GMRS radio is that the controller is really small, so you can tuck it away and hide it anywhere you need to. There's no controls on it that you need to get to. Everything is on a handpiece. While I was there, I also bought the upgraded handpiece. Has a bigger screen, more controls on it. So this at the show was $120. And then this, I can't remember the exact price, but both of these together came out to $200 even. So it's quite the discount at the Overland Expo show. So if you're planning on buying a radio and another Overland Expo show is coming up in your area, you might want to take a look at going to these shows and purchasing one of these systems at the show, because there is quite a discount. Now, the other thing I did buy is a 32-inch antenna. So this has a tiny antenna. It's a 3 dB antenna, but I got the 32-inch long antenna that I'll be putting in. So let's go over the install. So one of the things that you're going to have to do is figure out where you want to mount this control box. So, there's no controls on it that you're going to need to get to when you're trying to use it, but there is the hand jack here. So if you want to go into stealth mode and you want to hide this so that nobody knows that you have this radio, you need access to be able to unplug and plug it. So I looked at different places, under here. The reason I didn't like it here was because the cord for the transmitter was too close to my leg, and I didn't want to get my foot getting caught up in the cable, so I didn't like it there. I tried it under the seats. Wasn't crazy about it, but just because it made getting to this harder, the jack for the transmitter harder, and it came out muffled because now it's under the seat, so the speaker is right here on these control units. So if you put it under the seat, it gets muffled. So I ended up putting it, so if you have a first gen Tundra and you have this little compartment here, if you take this compartment off, this controller is small enough so that you can fit it right on top of this box that's in here. And what I'm going to do is just use double-sided tape and stick it to this. And to get access to the control panel, or to the jack, I'm going to use this extension cord. So this will get mounted to the face of this piece. So I'll put it right here. And that way I have easy access to mount my transmitter, my handpiece. So I will put the link to this in the description below, but that way I'm in full stealth mode. Nobody knows I have it. So I live in Southern California. Everybody thinks that what you have on your car belongs to them. So the more you can hide things, the better.
Now, looking back at this install, I think instead of mounting the jack on this console panel, I think I would have replaced the lighter, the 12-volt cigarette lighter right above it, and just use that for the jack. Just because once you put this panel for the jack in, that console becomes pretty tough to get back in. There's a lot of wiring and such behind it, so placement of this jack, if you're going to put it here, you got to make sure that you put it where everything tucks in correctly once you bolt this console back in.
Now you are going to have to find a home for the antenna. Now originally I was going to do a fender, build a bracket. So this would bolt, it's not bent up yet, but this would bolt to one of the fender bolts. And then the antenna would be at the round end here. But what I didn't like was if this thing is sticking out. And if I have my truck parked out in the street and some kid crashes into my car, I didn't want this sharp edge cutting into them. So I decided that's not going to work. I also looked at maybe, all right, let's mount the antenna here on the rear bumper. And so that was okay. I wasn't quite feeling it, but it was okay. That was my second choice. So my first choice, I'm going to extend this bracket out on my ditch light and mount the fender to this extension. Okay, so this fender's coming straight up, mounted on this bracket. But keep in mind, this thing is attached to my hood. So when I lift my hood up, I've got to make sure the antenna coming out here doesn't interfere with me opening my driver's side door, because if I can't open the driver's side door when the hood is up, that's just too much of a hassle. So I did some measurements. Looks like this will clear with if I mount the antenna here, there'll be plenty of clearance that I can open and close the front door. So that's where I'm gonna try to mount the antenna.
This is a completed bracket, so I extended that ditch light mounting bracket out so I could mount the antenna on it. I did run a ground line to the antenna, but as you can see, there's plenty of clearance between the door and the antenna, so even with the hood open, I can open and close the door. So I love the mounting location. Now the problem with my antenna location was that it gave me a very high SWR signal. No matter what channel I tried, whenever I pushed the transmit button on the handheld, the SWR signal was somewhere between 3 and 3.5. And you want the SWR signal to be as close to 1 as possible so that when you transmit, you don't damage your radio. So I started troubleshooting, and I went further back and I put the antenna that came with the kit on the truck, and same thing, high SWR signal. The only thing that seemed to work was moving that antenna to the top of the hood where you're seeing what you're seeing here, and that gave me an SWR signal of 1. So it seems like a ground plane problem. Ultimately, I moved the antenna to the top of the truck when I got my Prinsu roof rack. So I made a stainless steel bracket, mounted it in the middle of the rack, and I went with the shorty antenna just because I parked this truck in the garage and I didn't want that long antenna breaking off. But ultimately, this location gave me an SWR signal of 1.0.
All right, so this is where I keep my microphone, in a pouch behind the front seat. So if someone looked in my truck, they wouldn't know that I have a radio in this truck. But, easy access to the microphone if I want to use it. Okay, so this is what my install looks like. Nobody's going to know that I have a Midland radio installed in this truck. The only thing you see is the jack for the transmitter and, this power cable. Eventually, I'll just hardwire this into the fuse box, but really the only thing you see is this jack. So nobody's going to know that I have this radio installed in my truck. When I want to use the radio, plug it into the jack down here, microphone holder here. Pretty simple setup, but the cord is away from my feet, so I don't have to worry about the cord getting tangled, and pretty easy access. I don't have to do a long reach to get to the microphone, so very ergonomic. Everything is open, so even with the handheld mounted, all of the HVAC controls are open, so it's not blocking anything, which makes it really convenient. The radio, you turn it on from here. It's an on-off switch. You can do a scan function. So scanning all the frequencies right now to see if there's anybody on there. You have a weather.
For patchy low clouds and fog after midnight.
You have the weather channel.
Saturday, sunny except for patchy low clouds and morning. Highs in the mid-80s to lower 90s.
So everything on it's very conveniently mounted. Radio is really clear, crystal clear. I was picking up some guys 30 something miles away from me, and that's with this little shorty antenna. So this radio picks up, I mean this MXT 275, it picks up radio signals from far away. The last thing I'm going to say about this radio, it's a GMRS radio, so you do need a license. So if you go to the FCC website, I think the license is $35 for 10 years. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Next week, it's going to be about my, I believe it's a Prinsu roof rack install. So I'll take you step by step on how I install that. Until then, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Take care, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.